Time and again, he would step forward and keep his promise, even when the dark clouds of political crisis gathered over America. After a deluded gunman assassinated President Kennedy,
Hello friends and welcome. It is December 2nd, and on today's podcast, I'll be covering what you won't be hearing in the mainstream media about the life of George H.W. Bush. Well, who was he behind the scenes? Who was his father? A lot of bad ties with this Bush family to the Nazis. Now, with that being said, we have a huge week ahead of us regarding Q posts, also with a whistleblower, the third whistleblower coming forward out of the Clinton Foundation to talk to John Huber, the Attorney General of Utah. A lot of damning information could be coming out about the Clintons. Cross your fingers, right? But was this death of George H.W. Bush planned? Because what will the mainstream media be covering? The funeral, just like John McCain. A lot of this will bleed into the mainstream media covering up what is happening with the Clinton Foundation. This is what they do. They cause a distraction, the wildfires, flooding, hurricanes, this and that, to bleed into the media so that we don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. It takes place of what we should be looking at to evolve what people think about what's really going on, expand our thinking, right? So was the death planned? Was the funeral procession planned because they knew what was coming? We all know that George H.W. Bush was very frail. He didn't have much longer. Did he say, just cut the cord on me and let's get into the mainstream media before this stuff breaks on the Clinton Foundation? They're all there. They're all part of the same arm. The Clintons, the Bushes, the cabal, the Obamas, everyone's connected, so they have to watch each other's back. So I believe that it was very much so planned, and we will see what the week ahead of us holds, correct? Now, with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please go ahead and click that blue bell to get notifications. So when I post, you're the first to know. Also, follow me on Twitter at ShrewReporting. And don't forget to leave a like. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other people. Thus, more eyes on the truth. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. So in front of me, I have a new text document on Notepad because I took this off of the conspiracy subreddit on Reddit. And when I tried to go back to it, it wouldn't allow me to bring it up on my laptop, which I found to be very strange. So I wanted to read this to you in what I believe is coming in the next week. A breakdown, if you will. We are witnessing Operation Mockingbird in real time as it shapes the public opinion on the death of President Bush. No meta. The things you won't hear reported or even considered about the life of President Bush. He was the grandson of the person responsible for assigning ammunition contracts in World War I. His father was a Connecticut senator whose company was dissolved by Congress for trading with Nazis in World War II. So this guy's dad's father's company was ruined because Congress found out that he was trading with the Nazis. He likely was involved with the CIA and the assassination of President Kennedy. Like in the video I showed you before, these people are sick. They have no conscience. They have no empathy for anything. They don't care. They're, in my opinion, demons. But you saw the video on the intro. The assassination of President Kennedy, Google JFK2. At a time when the CIA had absorbed the Nazi spy apparatus, Google Operation Paperclip. He was appointed director of the CIA to squash the Church Commission and testified to Congress that propaganda against the citizens of the U.S. by the CIA would continue. Google Church Commission and Operation Mockingbird. ran the Reagan White House and coordinated the CIA smuggling of cocaine into the U.S. to fund an illegal war in Nicaragua, traded arms to Iran, requiring presidential pardons for these crimes. Google Tower Commission Report. So Google the Tower Commission Report. Gary Webb and the Dark Alliance. Firebombed portions of Panama, cleaning up the drug channels. Bankrupted the Soviet Union, creating the oligarchy which we see today in the Soviet Union. Used the CIA to begin the war in Afghanistan, and created the Taliban using bonds which were due, which to come due in 2001. Hired the bin Laden family to build military bases in Saudi Arabia. Pitted Iran against Iraq. In the Iran-Iraq war, began the air campaign of the Iraq War on a weekend in Iraq. His son continued his father's wars with an illegal ground invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan after 9/11. Likely 9/11 was staged to destroy the records of the maturing bonds used to fund these crimes and the trillions of dollars of fraud being investigated in the Pentagon, which the Pentagon, I believe, is about to be audited, right? His son was torturing, kidnapping, and killing people, furthering this lawless campaign, settling scores, and cleaning up loose ends. Guantanamo. There is literally no visible family more politically powerful who has had and effectively worked to promote war and undermine America's moral standing in the world than the Bush family. 4 generations of war profiteering, trading with American enemies, drug trafficking, torture, assassinations, child trafficking too, and operating outside of the rule of law. But the mainstream media will maintain the media blackout of even a mention of these crimes against America and the rule of law. It is truly impressive how they can control and shape the narrative. So, with that being said, I have got to show you something that I found incredible. This came out in 2007, and all this information in this is unbelievable. Deathbed confessions. Photos support claims that George H. Sheriff Jr. was the 41st U.S. president. Now you're saying, well, that's not their last name. Sheriff is not their last name. There are the Bushes, right? But if you look into this, like I just read from that conspiracy subreddit article, that they came over. His father came over during Operation Paperclip, which is when they brought over Nazi scientists to help us build up NASA. He was part of that, all CIA, everything. And I'm about to show you it. So you need to show your friends, okay? According to Otto Skorzeny, pictured is the Scherf family and a few friends circa 1938. Holding Mother Scherf's hand at left is Martin Bormann. In front of Reinhard Gehlen. In back is Joseph Mengele. And to his right is Skorzeny as a young man. At center right in the German Navy uniform is George H. Scherf Jr. This is crazy, guys. And his father, George H. Scherf Sr. Bormann, became Hitler's second in command. Reinhard Gehlen was a chief SS officer and assassin who was smuggled out of Germany under Operation Paperclip. So I could show you this picture here, and I can show you where people are tagged in it, using up-to-date terms. Obviously, this would be in a black and white picture. Obviously, in 1938, someone has put a little bit of color in this so we can see better. So George Scherf Jr., George H. Bush is right here as a young man. Joseph Mengele is right here. George Scherf Sr., Prescott Bush is right here. And Otto Skorzeny is right here. Now, who is Otto Skorzeny? I will show a picture of him. This is all over the internet. You can just type it in, and you can just type in George Prescott Bush and this gentleman right here and the ties to the Nazis. This is him right here. Family photos with them. Unbelievable, right? So let's continue on. Skorzeny was Hitler's bodyguard and SS spy assassin who came to the U.S. after the war under Project Paperclip. Skorzeny and George H.W. Bush were instrumental in merging Nazi SS intelligence, Secret Service intelligence, with the OSI to form the CIA with Wild Bill Donovan and Allen Dulles. These guys were also a part of CIA mind control experiments such as MK-Ultra. SS officer and physician Joseph Mengele, the notoriously sadistic angel of death of Auschwitz, escaped Germany to South America after the war. George H. Scherf Jr. became the 41st president of the United States as George H.W. Bush, and George H. Scherf Sr. was Nikola Tesla's trusted assistant. No joke, guys. What you're about to read is another step beyond research pioneered in the early 90s by author-historian Webster Tarpley, based largely on deathbed clues provided by former Hitler bodyguard Otto Skorzeny and his box of photographs. Since Skorzeny's death in 1999, the various leads he provided have been followed up and tend to support what at first blush would appear to be an unbelievable rantings of an embittered old man. What remains constant as we pour through publicly available official records, private correspondence, memoirs, newspaper articles, photos, and other clues is that the Bush family records, the ones that exist, are a puzzle palace of inconsistencies and curiosities. Since it is congressionally established fact that Prescott Bush was in business with the Nazis during World War II, we can safely say that the Bush-Nazi connection existed. Who are the Bushes? How did they get connected with the Nazis? Is the connection still alive through U.S. President George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush? The answers are not as literal as we would like them to be, but we have the testimony of Otto Skorzeny and his photos, especially the one above. So here we go, the first installment of the investigation that points to a curious conclusion. The Bush family was created to destroy America. What we are taught about in history and in American schools is not history but a fairy tale. Better yet, it is propaganda designed to hoodwink an unsuspecting society about its true heritage and the treasonous acts and sabotage that were conceived in order to bring about a new world order. Still continuing, we see through Q, all these families are related to each other. Follow the whys, follow the money, follow who they're connected to. They're all related. It's freaky, guys. Research is systematic investigation into a study of material sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. I skipped this part, 1 second. You are about to learn the real identities of those who have infiltrated your nation on behalf of secret societies, intent on bringing about the total slavery of mankind. In the past, others have written about the numerous conspiracies to control natural resources, energy, food, and our sovereign right to live on planet Earth. Not as slaves of wealthy few, but as free men, women, and children exercising the free will given to them by God. Research is the systematic investigation into a study of material and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. This is an important research. Read it carefully with an open mind, considering the use of fluorides, sodium fluoride, in drinking water and toothpaste. You may already be in denial. Fluorides, we are told, are for the prevention of tooth decay. You, the reader, can decide if that really works. The real reason they are adding to your drinking water and toothpaste is to cause you to become psychologically and physically placid and therefore apathetic. A thought problem. Imagine if you were a member of a secret organization whose sole agenda was to control the entire planet. If your plan was to accomplish this goal without perceived by your intended victims, discretion would be paramount. Your organization would devise a series of historical events that on the surface would appear to be everyday happenstance occurrence, natural disasters, man-made disease, acts of murder, assassination, terror, manipulation of money and energy supplies, contamination of food, pollution of natural resources, and war. The timing of these events would require patience, careful planning, cooperation from others in position of trust, stealth, and deceit. In essence, the whole mission must derive its power through deception and concealment and must have a master plan. Who were the designers of this master plan? Follow along as we connect the dots. So we have to see here that we now have a president who is going up against this new world order, this cabal, this evil entity that is using us as slaves, our energy as slaves. It's all very real. This article I can show you now, this would be a 10-part podcast. I will post all of this information. It is so detailed for you that, you can tell all your friends. You can show everything. You can get up to date on it all. That they definitely went after Nikola Tesla. The connections with all of that, with Trump and everything. It's all intertwined, and Trump is definitely on the right side of history, and these people are on the wrong side. They're very evil. So I will definitely post this entire article in the description box below. So with that being said, I wanted to move on to some memes real quick. A big week ahead of us, as I said in the beginning. During the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, Donald Trump began to tear up. Moments later, Trump stood up and said that Christmas is truly the celebration of the wonderful Jesus Christ. Blessed be his name. This is our president, thank God. And I believe that too. We're in a desperate time right now, and he is doing all he can. He left a very cozy life, a very easy, good life to go up against this. I believe he was picked, to be honest, not just by the military. Also, if you didn't know anything else about the Bushes, you can see here, homosexual prostitution inquiry ensnares VIPs with Reagan and Bush. Callboys took midnight tour of the White House. Guys, this is crazy. This is a very real article. It was a very real time when this was on the front of the Washington Times. So they're not good people, let me tell you that. Now we see here Joe M. I'm very curious about this account, to be honest. Very well ran. Now, what major law enforcement event would require another wave of military police deployments to our newly renovated enemy combatant detainment facility in Guantanamo Bay? Could #pain be coming soon, perchance? I think so. I believe that a lot of this is having to do with the whistleblowers coming from the Clinton Foundation. Not looking good for them, and I'm so happy. The 305th Military Police Company deploys to Guantanamo Bay. So they're sending military police to Guantanamo. But why? I mean, there's not that many people there now. Why do they need more people? Is something about to happen? This is an actual quote from George H.W. Bush. If the American people ever found out what we have done, they will chase us down the street and lynch us. H.W. Bush, June 1992, to Sarah McClendon, White House Press Corps. So you can go ahead and look that up. It's all right there. You can Google that. Why are all these people talking about they will chase us down the street and lynch us? Just like Hillary said, if Trump is elected, we'll all be hanging from the end of a rope, something paraphrasing. But why do they always talk about that? These people are guilty. That's all there is to it. They're that evil, and we're that blind. No longer, though, we're awake, but there are still a lot of people blind. So we need to get these videos out there and to show them that what they're living in is not the real reality. And together, if we're all awake, we are an unstoppable force. The Real Dark Judge tweeted, "People keep asking this, and we have made it clear. George H.W. Bush will also be executed." So was he executed? Possibly. I don't know. But there are theories out there. That was on the 30th, so that was only 3 days ago when he passed. And if we're talking about executed, I believe we're talking suicide watch. There's going to be a large number of people that are going to be going missing. I'm talking about high elite people are going to be going missing. Maybe plane crashes, maybe suicides, maybe murders. It's all going to be covered up. If we don't get to see them hung or electrocuted or whatever the case may be, if they're just out of our consciousness, if they're out of this reality, to hell with them. As long as they're gone, so it's freed up to fill in positive energy and love. Get them the hell out of here. More power to us, right? So with that being said, my friends, a huge week ahead of us. I'm glad I'm not working right now. I won't go back until the beginning of the year. So I will be here for you guys to bring you great content. If you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Please subscribe to my channel. And also follow me on Twitter. You can donate to this channel. This is a grassroots channel. Down below in the description box, you can go to my Patreon or my PayPal and help me along the way. I would appreciate it. Guys, please be kind out there. Love one another. Take care of one another. And we will talk to you soon, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.